Well, thank you so much for joining us here on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm Bree.
And I'm Melissa Constanzer. We are really starting off with the threat for more severe weather. June doesn't mean that calendar stops.
Yes, unfortunately, we have the threat for some hail, some gusty winds. We'll break it all down for you. Let's start you off with a look at satellite and radar just to see where these storms are at right now.
And you can see the showers, thunderstorms still trying to slide their way east through the central U.S. Plus, we've got plenty of wet weather over the Appalachians.
Oh, unfortunately, the clouds return, the rain returns, and well, you're going to see a little dip in the mercury here as we head throughout the afternoon.
I know some are not going to be big fans. Others might like the relief. And look at Chicago, a bit of a lake breeze there, 68 degrees. So if you're today and into tonight, that threat extends from West Texas northward to the Dakotas and Minnesota. And the main threats from a lot of these storms in the northern plains are going to be high winds, hail, and flash flooding.
Now, there will also be a risk for severe thunderstorms across much of western, northern, and eastern Texas and Oklahoma, as well as portions of southwest Arkansas and Louisiana. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. And, well, we're going to break it all down or more when it comes to severe weather.
And they can also create fatalities, too. Trees down on cars. So unfortunate and very quick, unfortunately, to do a lot of damage with a lot of falling trees and other issues out there. So as we look across the plains, the good news is not too much in the way of severe weather, but we certainly have our thunderstorms here still working through some of the high plains. And this could create a mess of things later on as we watch some of that wet weather move through Texas, if you will. As we go into Sunday, we've got the dry line firing up more thunderstorms through the afternoon into the evening hours, kind of our typical pattern. But with any activity that's already out there, which you've seen quite a bit of it through some of the central plains there, we are going to get a little bit more interaction and a little bit more wet weather. So that's going to be our concerns for severe weather as we head through today and into tonight. Of course, places like Dallas, we know there's that chance of a thunderstorm. For tomorrow, threat for thunderstorm shifts a little farther east. It's mostly just a rain event for us and gusty winds, maybe some damaging winds, possibly a little bit of hail. But really the story is places like Missouri, Arkansas that aren't getting in on weather. Lead hurricane expert forecaster Alex De Silva says that there are three main reasons as to why the hurricane season hasn't really kicked off just yet, or the tropical season, I should say. But once they are removed from the equation, then the season could hit the ground running.
Yes, and while we typically do see early season development happening right along the Gulf or the Caribbean, this year we've had some factors limiting a tropical activity, including that North American weather pattern, sparking a lot of that severe weather, high wind shear, and wildfire.
Well, thanks for sticking with us on AccuWeather Weekend. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is now officially underway. What's expected to be a supercharged season began yesterday. 20 to 25 named storms are expected across the Atlantic basin. Well, this hurricane season, people are being urged to know their zone, too. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on things as we go through the season. A peak hurricane season is around September 10th. So you do want to make sure that you're prepared. Definitely by then, you should already be prepared by June 1st. Think of June 1st as the marking point to finish all those preparations for you. And there are quite a few of them as we go through time to be prepared for this list. We could potentially go through a lot of names, if not all of the names on this list. You can see Alberto, Debbie, many names here. And we do have, again, a very active storm season. So how to be prepared? Make sure you make those emergency kits. That's one thing to start off with. Then you also have insurance policies to review. If you got homeowner insurance maybe before 2019 or around then, think about how much the pandemic has changed the price of things. So possibly your home costs a lot more to rebuild now than it did back when you got your homeowner's insurance policy. So please make sure that's being updated each year with new prices. And also just take inventory of the property. A great way to do that is to take a bunch of photos around the home. Make sure you're assessing kind of what's all in your house for some of your interior items and on the outside too. It shows you the quality that your home was in too before the storm hit. Keeping those full tanks of gas is essential during the storm, and also as you're talking about getting closer to things, have that evacuation plan. Now, evacuations are a little bit tricky. You don't necessarily need to go all that far to evacuate. You can actually just go right up the road, and that can be a very good place to evacuate. So be sure to download the free AccuWeather app, verify insurance coverage there. Again, making sure that you're covered for enough is also a factor. And know the evacuation procedures for your community. That's very essential. Evacuations can be a little bit tricky depending on if you have the financial means or disabilities. So check in on your family and friends too. Make sure they have those plans ready to go for this hurricane season. And this hurricane.
We're going to take you to the southeast for this one, where we are tracking thunderstorms anywhere in this zone from the Carolinas back through the Arklatex, though it is going to be quite humid as we're still pumping in moisture streaming in from the Gulf. You'll certainly feel it in the air. When we look at our highs for our Monday, well, we're going to right around where we typically are for this time of year. Atlanta, you're at 86. Tuesday, New Orleans, you're already there. Similar story in Jacksonville. And, well, temperatures going to take a slight dip by Wednesday, really not by much. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast for areas like the
Well, in the Northeast, as we head through your Monday, we are looking at still dry air working its way back in. Could be some storms, though, out there that a few folks will have to dodge as we head throughout the day. So watch out for a little bit of that wet weather. Places like Washington, D.C. could find that. Again, not everyone getting in on this action. Pretty limited in nature. A nice day in New England. Burlington, 87 for that high, 75 in Boston. Very comfortable there. Head to Buffalo. Got a few extra clouds, but 73. No problems. As we transition through time, we will find, again, a little bit of that moisture along the coast. Dry transitioning through Monday evening then. Still, the storm activity stays off towards the west again as we go through Monday largely, and then transitioning into Tuesday. By the water there in Boston as we get that onshore flow. That'll keep us into the mid-60s. So when does the rain finally start to work its way back in? Because it does. And that'll be for the middle and later part of the week. Wednesday, Pennsylvania, places that have had a pretty wet spring so far. And now we're going into summer and it's still looking pretty wet. Burlington, we get